Hello everyone and welcome to another console review with me, John Parker, and...
Me, Jack Howling, and...
Me, Cody Chronotis.
So today, folks, we are going to take a look at another HOO console, and this time we're going to review the Dahacka. Now, from what I can remember, this is fairly an older console, not too old, although it's one with a very interesting design. So, Cody, if you want to go ahead and summon. I have a oh, it's behind you.
Well, isn't that a nice exterior?
I was going to say, very interesting indeed.
Oh, wow. That's a very interesting design at the top there. Oh, I see, it's a load of Ruslan symbols merged together.
It does look cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it was made by a person called Cine Byrne. Don't know how to pronounce that. Copperhead Atlas.
Cine Burn.
Burn. Oh, is that how you pronounce it?
Byrne.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a work colleague with the last name Burn.
Hmm.
I have to admit,
For
for an actual Prim build, that is very impressive.
It is quite nice, isn't it? The textures are a little stretched, but other than that...
True. But I mean, in comparison to, like, for example, some of the... Well, let's just refer to them as, like, non-canon. Obviously, the non-canon exteriors created by other systems. I have to admit, this one is of higher quality, texture-wise. Although, I mean, I'm not entirely sure about the I mean, like you said, that you like the top bit, but for me personally, I'm not entirely sure about that. Because it's nice at the very centre, but when they all start to...
It looks a little bit like a flower.
Crisscross. I suppose, yeah.
At the top,
like
I
that.
mean.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's what it could be passed off as. I mean, I'm assuming it probably wasn't intentional.
No, it looks more like an alien, like pod or something.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reference. Yeah, it does look like a pod. Other than that, not much I can say, except for I like the lighting effect coming out from like the gaps in between each segment.
And I also like the gaps, as I was saying, and also the slant, how it slightly slants on the side, and then on the other ones underneath it doesn't.
And I have to admit, there's like, I mean, obviously with high level graphics and all that, depending on what kind of machine you're running, the shine and the light kind of gives off a nice little kind of vibrant, well, not vibrant, but like a very minimal glow, like a little haze to it. If you look at it dead center, the different segment parts around the actual columns, you can see like a very faint glow that comes when you step backwards. So in the distance, on like an alien planet, if you imagine, that would set a perfect scene, perfect picture. So I suppose, with all that in mind, I suppose the top bit can kind of, they can get away with that. But no, all in all, it's a very intriguing exterior. Other than that, not much else I can say about it. Although,
Yeah, it looks like it's very, very highly polished at the bottom, I think.
Well, what would you say? Too highly polished, or just? I mean, there is a lot of shine going on here.
Yeah, it's like a very highly polished metal.
And I mean, if you look at the Rassilon symbols, for example, the shine there looks a little bit kind of odd. Especially, you've got like a blue and then like a brown kind of. I don't quite get what's going on there. Whether or not
I know why that's how that is. I think.
Oh, do tell.
I'm just looking at the Prims now,
Mhm.
and because of the age of this particular exterior, it looks like the shininess was put there before you had proper specular and bump. So they've literally just put the lowest shine.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
I suppose it kind of shows, the age of something. It's not more or less saying that it's bad and that it should look like this. It's just showing how things were and how they can be now. So it's nothing bad. It's just just kind of showing the variant kind of differences between then and now. So
there's also nothing wrong with the old just low or high or medium shine if it's used correctly. I mean, this looks fine.
yeah. Well, like I said, but compared to other past Prim exteriors from other creators, such as like NLS and all that, obviously.
Or Wits.
Obviously,
the
back then when it came to
Arm.
shininess and that kind of texturing, they did kind of some of them, not all of them. There were some excessive uses. However, this one in particular, it's even though it obviously looks odd to some modern folk now, back then it would have been obviously pretty impressive. It still is now. But no, I do like the effort that's been put into it to not make it kind of over the top, because at the same time it actually fits with what we can use now. So all in all, very good. So shall we step inside and have a look at the interior?
Yes.
The door on this exterior is actually quite interesting as well, if I'm thinking of the right one.
Oh wow! It slides open and then the little bits.
That is okay.
Can you open and close the doors again? Sorry, so I can see that.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Very nice.
So it's okay. So it's like how can I describe this now? I'm going to be crap at describing this. It's like it's just literally inverted itself. The two bottom, the top and the bottom, have gone from like that and gone upside down and twisted itself and inverted.
Yeah,
that is pretty good. I like that. Okay, let's.
Here we go.
Let's step up and in. Oh, okay. I kind of jumped a little bit. Oh, there we go.
So now we can actually see what it is we're looking at.
You see that little thing there that I'm looking at?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks 3D.
It looks 3D, but I know it's not. I love how like black backgrounds can do that.
You're being controlled by the Tardis.
It's good if you zoom back a little bit. Zoom back a little bit.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, because it looks like then. Yeah, look at that. It looks like it's inside the.
Obviously, if you zoom in too close to it, you kind of lose the effect.
Yeah, you lose the effect there. But well, actually, no. I'm getting a little bit of the illusion now. But yeah.
No, if you look back a bit more, then actually, because obviously the idea of that is to look at it at an angle, not more or less straight ahead, and then of course.
Yeah, like there, you should start to see.
It's very good. I have to admit as well, because obviously bear in mind that this console, again, being a fairly old build, it's completely Prim, isn't it? Am I right in saying so?
Prim and sculpting.
Yeah. Prim and sculpting.
Yeah.
Well,
go
again, compared to other ones, this is a Cabit build, isn't it, John?
Yes, Cabits.
So you can definitely see that they have put a load of effort into creating this, even for Prim.
Yes.
Because the one thing that strikes me about this console in particular is the fact that even though it's Prim, to people like me now and to people who have like joined Second Life in the past year or so, they would. Well, I'd thought this was actually mesh. I actually thought this was mesh. Until you right click and see how each of the objects are, it does kind of give you the impression of being a mesh interior, rather than being a Prim.
They have done it very well.
I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from the Cabits, to be honest. I've always found their builds very highly detailed. I didn't think that they'd put it off in Prim, but they have as well. It's the textures you see, you'll notice. It's always to do with the textures to determine how detailed an object is. I mean, you could have the most fantastic mesh model in the world, but if without the textures to pull the effect off, it would still look rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
It's the texture, and that's what's being proven here.
Well, not just texture, but also like the if you look at the console, the different segments, the different parts.
Yeah.
Obviously, the objects and the controls there are obviously three-dimensional. They're not like flat textures, so you can just see the kind of extra detail they put in there, just going to give that kind of little bit of realism towards what they're making. Of course, I can imagine the actual controls are picture-based controls, because obviously the more they add, I imagine it's going to be a pretty high land impact.
Mm-hmm. One thing I have noticed if I can just remember what I was going to say. Oh yes, is you'll notice that this console is very bulky, and I don't know about you guys, but it gives the impression of. Do you remember the very old school PCs, the cream-coloured PCs you'd buy, and there'd be massive, thick towers, and had all those serial ports on the back, and it looked thick and bulky. Well, that's what this console gives me a reminder of. In fact, the Cabits themselves have actually put the texture of serial ports on the side and things. And I think this is representing an old school, but it's not actually old school, obviously, because it's a Tardis computer. And I really do like this thick, bulky design. Is that circuitry at the bottom, or is that wires? It's not. It's cooling pipes.
It makes me think of like a 1990s Star Trek Doctor Who console. I suppose you could put it as. A little, because obviously the controls make you think of Star Trek, aren't they? Because obviously they all had the coloured circuitry kind of pictures and whatnot, and all the little connectors to it.
You know what's funny about the textures on the controls?
What's that?
The pod console. That is where these are all from.
Ah yes, the flat one. We haven't done the pod, have we?
Oh no, I don't know what you're referring to.
The pod, the textures on every panel.
Yep.
If you look at the pod console off camera, because unless people really want us to look at it, it's not on the list. It's the same control textures.
Okay then. I haven't seen that console, so I wasn't able to make that judgment.
Oh. Well, we might be doing a video on it then, seeing as you two have never seen it.
No.
Maybe.
That's
I'll have to add it to the end of the list.
Indeed. Shall we go ahead and take off and see it in action?
Yes. Okay. And I love the rotor on this, because I've seen this rotor.
Flight lever is this here. I'm not even going to bother closing the doors, they'll do it themselves.
That's interesting.
There we go. That is a texture animation. 2 faces, one red, one green, in opposite directions. The textures are flipped. And it just increases the speed on a timer.
That is pretty good. I would have preferred an in-flight sound, though.
It technically does change to a different sound, because the power sound is different from the in-flight sound. So it technically has one, but not in the classical sense.
But yes, I mean, I love the fact that the windows show the time vortex behind it, the flashing blue.
Oh, I've just remembered another feature that you'll love, John, if I can find the cloister bell button.
Oh.
Cloister bell?
It's one of your favourite things about the consoles.
Someone said cloister bell.
Of course, I've got to bloody find it. Right, that's the door. That's that. That's the... Right, I'm waiting for someone to complain that we don't know where the controls are. See, John? Does your favourite thing?
Ah, yes, the red cloister lights.
Meh.
Red alert. All
Also,
stations on deck.
I'd
I
prefer
like how the roundels look 3D at the top.
Yes, because of the backlit Prim.
adding the sense of depth.
Mhm.
I'd have preferred it if this central light would have turned red. That
Central.
would-
Oh yeah, the one at the top here. Yeah.
The red light in the corners of the console is good enough, but
But the lights under the floor change as well.
Yes.
What is it?
No, actually cam below the floor.
Ah, yes.
Oh. Oh what? Oh my. What? My word.
There's something else there to talk about as well.
Ah, yes, we'll have to talk about that little beauty. Let me turn the cloister bell off when we can.
Hang on, but that's one thing about the HO system that I've got to criticise.
What's that?
The cloister bell, it always turns off and then goes back
And
on
then-
again, and
yeah.
off, and back on, and off, and back on. And it never stays on permanently.
If I'd criticise HOR with their cloister bell, I don't feel that most of their consoles give off the red alert effect enough. Because some lights do change,
Most
some
consoles in
don't.
the classic didn't, though, did they? The classic series never had or not often had a red
True.
lighting system.
I suppose you could say that, but yeah.
But I do see what you're saying. The SL originals, some of them should be utilising it a lot more efficiently.
I suppose this one kind of doesn't count in a way then, because obviously they based it. I can tell they based it on a very a classical style design, and obviously with a hint of modern and other TV shows as well. So I can let them go for that one. But yeah, the more consoles they bring out, I do believe they should kind of give the whole close to bell, the whole kind of red alert situation more of a drastic effect, make it more dramatic.
we must talk about this hologram.
The hologram, yep.
Which I believe is unique to this console.
This is something that I have not seen before in the actual console, I believe. Thinking about it. Yeah, this is the first time I've actually seen a working hologram in a console.
Like I said, I'm fairly sure that this particular kind of hologram is unique to this console. I know there is another console that has holographic starfielding, but that's different again.
I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, if you think about it as well, off topic, slightly. Imagine if you used to have the grid and the galaxy, but have a separate image for random stars.
I am going to be nosy and just check the textures on that. Oh, okay.
Dear.
Oh, it's one of those little fade lights. Oh, okay. It's alright, I'm just very nosy about, how do they do that in texture work?
I mean, that is very nice. I do like that.
It's one of the things I like about this console.
Oh, there's a little circle thing in the middle as well.
I've actually got a fun fact about this particular piece of this console, which is completely unrelated. But I did a mod of the Hurt console once based on the description from Engines of War.
Mm-hmm.
Had that in the top section of the console, because in the book it references that there is a holographic universe type looking thing.
All right.
So
okay.
I put that in there, and it did look very nice.
And I like how they got a lens effect here on the hologram. The way the specular works.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just check, because I don't... Is that Oh, I've got the wrong Prim.
It's like one of those 3D things, you know, where you put like a small object and there's like mirrors all around it, and it makes it look bigger and holographic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
I found it. Got the Prim now. There we go. Oh, it's
they've done, or what it's supposed to be.
a mirror. Did you say?
Yeah, you know, like novelty items that you can buy where you put like, see, you've got a small little frog, and you put the little frog in the middle, and it mirrors it so it looks bigger and holographic.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's kind of what it's making me think of.
But
Except
how?
obviously you've got a universe and not a little tiny toy frog.
Yeah, I like it.
The stairs are quite nice. With
Yes.
their little kind of chain
that's another thing
radiant
about-
colour effect.
I bet that's the thing about this console that I love, and that is the fact that a lot of the Prims are a lot of the Prims are floating. Well, no, not all of them are, obviously. Some of them
Well,
are.
no, only the stairs
Stairs.
are floating.
And also this railing.
It's
Oh.
futuristic.
So they have all got anti-gravity on them.
Although
Which means technically, if there was ever a power failure in this TARDIS, you would be having some fucking some fun.
you would
Yeah, 'cause
be
they all go,
royally screwed.
Because all of your stairs would collapse. You would have no balcony.
You would be royally screwed. In
Which
every
actually
single way.
would be an interesting thing for them to add to this console. Because you know the Phoenix console, how it raises and lowers when you turn it on and off.
The
Yes.
Phoenix console.
Which we'll be reviewing shortly.
Okay.
Yes, what he said, and we'll be able to show this feature properly.
Okay.
But basically, what it does is when you turn it on, it will raise, and when you turn it off, it will lower.
Really?
But they could have done it. I wish
That-
it would have been nice if at the time they had it. And this was. It would be difficult to do it with this console because it's Prim.
True. Mm-hmm.
But imagine that when you power off, all of the stairs collapse down, and the banisters come to resting on top of the balcony section.
Mm,
That would be kind of cool to see.
it would be.
Wait, or they could do it hilariously, where they literally turn on physical.
That
And the
would
whole
be a
thing just goes-
disaster.
And then when you put the power back on, they turn off physical, and they just slowly like reform themselves into the correct place.
No, you'd want it to have a controlled manner of insanity where each piece would just slowly drop. You'd want it just go.
Anybody underneath it's got a sore head.
They should really do that for a self-destruct. I think HRO should actually implement their own self-destruct system.
Well, it's
Yes.
been proven it's possible because I know many of the other companies have dabbled their hand in a self-destruct system.
Mm-hmm. Also, but like the points that you two have made, you know, imagine if every single, well, not the actual console itself, but everything inside the interior actually started to collapse, break in half. You know, some objects disappeared and got replaced with damaged parts, and like, you know, each of the console panels just crumble, and just, you know, there's smoke and there's like gas and fire, and oh, I'll tell you what, it would be amazing seeing that kind of effect. And I know that HRO in particular would do that perfectly well,
Yeah.
rather than generate a
It's
gripping
like-
fireball.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah, because then if you're unlucky, then the prims go flying everywhere. If it turns physical,
Ah, yes, I see you've opened the add-on door, which takes you to nowhere.
because there's no add-ons.
Nowhere.
off.
I'm dead.
Don't wait up, Jack.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the second video where Jack has just completely committed suicide.
Yep. The first one was me actually blowing everything up, and then the second one was me just jumping out and saying that I've had enough. But no, I mean, like,
Sorry, go on.
well, I mean, like, even down there with the extra door, you know, the padding around the wall, you know, again, my point about it looking like mesh instead of Prim, you know, it's pretty impressive.
It is
You
a
know-
very nice build.
I've just thought as well. I mean, as I said, this is a Cabit build, but it's one of their Prim ones, and the texture work, while it's more primitive, shall I say, than the mesh ones they've been making a lot more recently.
Uh-huh.
You can still see that they've got that, like, you know, like for example, this main doorway Prim. It's a custom texture.
Mhm.
That is perfectly suited for that control, and it has
It's
gradients.
also the wrong way round.
Well, whatever. It has gradients. It has gradients, and bevels on the texture, and I just think that's really cool because they've tried to make it as realistic as possible.
But
Apart from the
Craig,
fact that it's the wrong way around.
it says the doors are open and they're closed.
Oops. Oopsie daisy.
Well, that's fixable. You just reverse the polarity
Go
of
on
the
then.
neutron flow.
Go on then.
Well, open it first. Right. Now, am I thinking about this right? How do you make it so that it doesn't do the thing?
You
Oh, I know
can't-
how to do it.
It's not controlled by the description, it's controlled by the name of the Prim.
No. Click it on
No,
your hood
scripting.
instead. Click it on the hood instead.
Oh, but Cray. Guess what? Guess what, Cray?
Oh,
It moves the lever.
stop the script then. Can you do that?
Probably.
Build scripts. Set scripts are not running. Now do it.
This is gonna go wrong, Jack.
Dun.
Right. And now...
Go on, let's set scripts already go
What
down.
about you? It remembered! How did you remember? It's like a life hates me. So yes, if anyone from H2O is watching who wants to update that, that is the wrong way around.
So, folks, that is as much as I can cover and think, unless you two have got anything else you want to add.
Is there anything, Tyrone, that you have not said?
I mean, just to say this as well, the actual light array coming from the top lights is pretty cool as well.
Yes, I do like that.
Oh, what? Whoa! Oh, it's the light ray, that's why.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Oh, he's noticed something. Great.
Mm? John?
Oh, I see, it's because it's extraordinarily thick, like my head.
Indeed.
Why didn't the Cabits make that two thin ones? Because then you could have both sides have the light ray rather than me.
That explains why my avatar got trapped when you teleported me into yours, Cody. Because I couldn't get out to begin with.
Yeah, could have. Yeah.
I thought I was stuck inside the rotor tube, but now the rotor tube's outside. I was stuck in the light thing. So yeah, good point, John. They should have made that.
And they should have also made that phantom.
I don't know if at the time there was the option to do that, because they can't make it phantom because it's linked. But
I think
obviously
I've
they
just
could've-
fixed that.
they could've-
I've made
yeah,
it non.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is, John, I don't know if that was possible at the time of
Yeah,
creation.
because convex hull was the new physics system for the mesh, wasn't it?
Yep.
So yeah, so that they wouldn't have added that. They wouldn't have added that option for the physics shape type.
It is a valid point, though.
But yes, there we go.
So shall we go ahead and give our verdicts?
Yes.
Okay. So, John, out of 10, what would you first give the exterior?
The exterior, I say, is worthy of an 8.
Worthy
I
of an 8?
thoroughly enjoy it. It's not my favourite. I have to admit that, but it is a nice exterior, and that's why I give it an 8. As for the console,
Yep.
I thoroughly enjoy the Dahacka. This is one of my most favourite consoles, even though it's Prim, and so I'm going to give it a very high 9.5.
Okay. Cody, what would you give the exterior and the interior?
Let's see. Well, I quite like the exterior, in the sense that there are a series of exteriors that are all based around the same texture format, and they are all actually quite nice. And because they're not police boxes, they deserve a rating.
Indeed, they do.
I'd say the exterior is an 8 because I do quite like the individuality of it in a sense.
Yep.
And for the console, this has always been a favourite of mine. Obviously, since I've used some of it in my most recent modification. I'll give it a 9, methinks.
A 9? Okay. I think, actually, I've got to agree with both of you on that. I mean, the exterior, again, it is unique. I like it. And, of course, given its age, especially today, it's still an impressive sight to behold. So, for me, I will definitely give it an 8. Actually, no, I'll tell you what, I'll bump that a little bit slightly. I'll give it an 8.5. And for the interior, I am thoroughly impressed by the build overall. Again, it did trick me. I did think it was a mesh, partially mesh to begin with, but no, it being completely Prim, definitely I am 100% thrilled by it, by the actual design itself. So, again, agreeing with you two, I will give it a 9. Okay.
And before we finish off this video, just a few quick little points I've noticed. First of all, I was going to originally make the point of, before seeing the light things, that these individual lights, I like the texture on this. It's like like little individual pieces of metal to form the light part section, or individual elements. So I like that. But also, people might notice this little spinning animation thing.
Aye.
This is originally from an animation texture pack that you can get on the marketplace. But I wanted to make the point that this animation was used on the Theta as well, on I think some of the controls on the actual console itself. I just thought if anybody else recognises that little animation. That is on the Theta. Oh, and I like that little hologram, little thing, or gas, or whatever it's supposed to be. I think it's meant to be a hologram-y, like force field thing. So yeah, small little hidden secrets in this console, guys. So if you get it yourself or have it yourself, you might notice it. Also, the soundproof styled walling and things like that. So yes.
Okay. So, folks, that is the conclusion of our review of the HOO Dahacka. We do hope you enjoyed, and we will see you again in our next video. In fact, we are going to be reviewing next
It was the Cyberpunk.
So
an old build.
We have a list of sort of the timeline of when particular consoles that we want to look at were released.
So
look forward to next week's Cyberpunk.
And the weeks after that, because it seems like we've got a fair few
the
things
week after
going
that
on.
Is the 50X.
Yeah, so it goes Cyberpunk 50X.
Phoenix.
And then the Phoenix. Then now we've said we'll look
pod.
at the pod console, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, until then, see you folks soon. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Thank you folks for watching. If you enjoyed, do please leave a like or comment below on this video.
If you want more, on Jack's side is the last video and the recommended video that we've suggested to you.
To stay tuned for more, on John's right is the link to our channel so you can subscribe, and also we have a link to our website if you want more information about who we are and what we do. Until next time,
take care, stay safe,
and remember,
let your geek side out. Bye bye, guys.